When you think of Nepal, you probably think of mountains, but its greatest treasures aren't just the peaks. They're the unique biological and cultural capital hidden within them. Today, we're exploring how that hidden wealth is being transformed from local tradition into a powerful new engine for the global economy.
This is an analysis from Alpha Business Media. We're going to break down the strategies, the key players, and the critical challenges that are shaping the future of Nepal's bioinnovation sector.
Get this, $110,000 per kilogram. That was the peak market price for a single biological resource found high in the Himalayas. I mean, that's a number that puts it in the same league as gold or platinum, and it perfectly captures the incredible value that's locked away in Nepal's biodiversity.
So let's dive in. You've got to understand this isn't just about conservation. This is about business. It's about seeing Nepal's natural assets as the very foundation for a new, innovation-driven economy and transforming local heritage into high-value global products.
So what is the resource behind that staggering price tag? It's called Yarzagamba, and it's this bizarre and incredibly potent caterpillar fungus hybrid. Prized for centuries in traditional Chinese medicine, it's the perfect symbol of Nepal's opportunity, a unique, high-demand product. But it also represents the central challenge. How do you make sure the value from these treasures actually benefits Nepal itself?
To really see this challenge in action, we're going to look at 4 different products, and each one tells a completely unique story about strategy, about success, and about failure. It really reveals the different paths Nepal's bioeconomy could take. And our 4 case studies, well, they couldn't be more different. On one hand, you have Yarzagamba, a high-value raw export. On the other, Jumli Marsi Rice, which became a successful domestic brand. Then you got chiraito, a raw industrial ingredient, and Timor pepper, which rode a global gastronomic trend. Each of their journeys reveals a different piece of this economic puzzle.
Now here's where it gets really interesting. It's all about who captures the value. With Yarzagamba, the raw material is just exported, and most of the profit is made by international traders. It's a classic case of the resource curse. But then look at Jumli Marsi Rice. It's grown in the world's highest paddies, and local entrepreneurs built it into a premium domestic brand, capturing all of that value right there at home.
And we see a really similar split in market strategy. Chiraito is a medicinal herb with proven benefits, right? But it's mostly just exported as a raw ingredient for India's pharmaceutical industry. It's a huge missed opportunity. In total contrast, you have Timor pepper. It's a local spice that was brilliantly marketed by connecting its unique kind of grapefruit-like tingle to global food trends. They targeted high-end chefs and craft gin makers, and it became a star ingredient all over the world.
So, this brings us to the real game changer here. It's not just about raw materials anymore. A new generation of Nepali entrepreneurs is driving a fundamental shift. They're building finished consumer brands that are completely changing the perception of what made in Nepal can be.
A perfect example is a company called Herveda Botanicals. I mean, their philosophy says it all. It proves it's not just about selling a product. It's about selling a story, one that masterfully blends Himalayan herbs, traditional knowledge, and modern green science. That is how you build a premium brand. And their model is just brilliant. It's a strategic trifecta. First, create high-value products in Nepal. Second, make sure the local communities who steward the resources get a fair share of the profits. And third, build a sustainable business ecosystem. It proves that profit and ethics can absolutely go hand in hand. And Herveda isn't alone. This is a growing movement. You've got companies like Diva Be Natural creating luxury cosmetics from unique ingredients like chewy butter. You've got Rithane Spot building a market for traditional organic foods. They're all turning local authenticity into a real competitive advantage. But for every one of these success stories, there are some pretty major headwinds. These entrepreneurs are facing serious, systemic challenges that could derail the entire movement. So what exactly is holding them back? Well, first, there are the practical barriers. Poor infrastructure makes logistics an absolute nightmare. The lack of internationally accredited labs in the country means expensive and time-consuming testing abroad just to access premium markets. And then you have a complex bureaucracy that just adds layers of cost and uncertainty. These are the day-to-day realities. But as tough as those challenges are, they are not the most dangerous, not by a long shot. There is a deeper, more existential threat here that could undermine the very foundation of this emerging bioeconomy. So what is it? The threat is biopiracy. In simple terms, it's the theft of intellectual property.
It's when foreign companies or entities take traditional knowledge and genetic resources, patent them, and then commercialize them without any permission from or benefit to the original communities.
And look, this is not some hypothetical risk. It's already happening. Gundruk, a traditional fermented vegetable, and chewing-gum, a kind of barley beverage, both have reportedly been patented or trademarked by foreign firms. This is the real danger. Without legal protection, Nepal's most unique assets can just be taken.
So, what's the path forward? The analysis really points to 3 non-negotiable imperatives. First, you have to support the entrepreneurs. They are the real engines of value creation. Second, you have to make strategic investments in the infrastructure needed for global trade. And third, and maybe most urgently, you have to solve the intellectual property crisis by creating strong legal protections for traditional knowledge.
And this brings us to the final critical question. Nepal is really at a crossroads. The potential is absolutely undeniable, but so are the risks. The country has to decide. Will it build the frameworks necessary to protect its most unique assets, or will it stand by while its biological and intellectual treasures are used to build fortunes for others?